Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 17th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And then real quick before I get started, I do want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link right in the description box. If you're watching at my site, then somewhere right there on the webpage, there's going to be an area that you can click on. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you're liking what you see, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Now, before we get into the first stock here, a couple of quick kind of clarification points. First off, I will be using the 30-minute time frame. So if you're new to charts, all that means is that one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then second, the market is still going to be open for a while. So no, you're not crazy. This candle right here is going to be moving throughout the course of the video because, again, the market is still open for just a little bit longer. But I like to do this. Sometimes we can capture some really interesting price action. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But first one here, ticker symbol PROG. Did this analysis yesterday and talked about the fact of, okay, things started to wake up, which, brought about the question of, okay, was that the start of something bigger? And now in hindsight, we can definitely say, well, yeah, absolutely, that was the start of something bigger, as a whole lot of momentum showed up today and has now formed a very nice pattern here. So more of the story here, I think a whole lot more eyeballs are going to be watching this one now as compared to yesterday. But if you were watching this yesterday and you got in, then yeah, congratulations to you because you absolutely nailed it. But let's get some levels here mapped out now that pertain. So the first area and one of the new levels from a support side of things, in fact, why don't I just do this? Let me just use this level since that, yeah, it's still relevant. It just doesn't really pertain anymore to things. But the first key level to watch moving forward is going to be right up there at $4.20. And that's, nothing fancy behind that other than the fact of price made a big surge, then a relatively violent, nasty pullback, but $4.20 is where that not only stopped, but then, started to go back up from that area. So keep an eye on 420 from a near-term level of support. And then from an overarching standpoint, watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. As the name implies, that line there is going to move itself higher and higher. So point being that from more of a broad standpoint, as long as the price stays above that line, as the line itself moves higher and higher, then the bulls are in full control of the overall move. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, key level to watch is going to be that trend line right there, which who knows, maybe within the last 30 minutes the price actually breaks above there. If it does, well, then by the time, you're watching this, ask yourself that question, where is the price relative to that trend line? If the price has broken above it, well, now you have yourself a nice technical breakout, which could bring about even that much more momentum on Wednesday. But overall, that'll be the main dynamic to watch from the resistance side of things. But overall, very, very nice improvement, especially compared to Monday. Next one here, LCID, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but I've talked time and time again about how the price was essentially trapped inside of this sideways channel here. But with earnings today, the market clearly liked it because not only did the price gap up above earnings, the price has continued to, pick up that much more momentum. So point here being, from a technical jargon point of view, a technical breakout has occurred. So let me go ahead and get rid of these levels here because, again, then they're not really relevant right now. And let's map out some new levels. So first level now from a support side of things is going to be the ideal level at $52. Ideal, again, meaning, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? Certainly if the price can stay above 52. And then after that area, next key breakout point would be down there right around, the next level of support, which was a former breakout point. The breakout point being right there would be the $50 mark. So near-term levels of support at 52 and then 50. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, nothing fancy, nothing complicated here at all. Literally just a question of, okay, well, where did the momentum, where did the party finally stop? And that was right up here a couple of occasions, right around, let's just call it $55.40. So $55.40 going to be that next main battleground, just because that's where the sellers finally showed up with enough strength to actually push the price back down. But all in all, anyway, look at it, like I said, you got the breakout of that sideways channel, not just a question of how much more momentum can this technical pattern breakout produce. The next few days are going to be very interesting. Next one here, RIVN, and the uptrend continues. Did this analysis yesterday, and that's where the red and green line are coming from. But after today's price movement, updates definitely need to be done. Going to go ahead and just get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now. First update here is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward, one of the newest areas of support going to be right there at the 152 mark. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive with any sort of pullbacks, another interesting pullback point right there around the 161 mark. So I'd consider those near-term areas of support. And then like we just talked about, keep an eye on that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. So as that level rises, then from the overarching standpoint, as long as the price is above that area, then the bulls are in full control. And I mean, it's a good problem to have, but from a resistance side of things, no need to get complicated. Literally just a question, just like LCID of, okay, well, where did the party and momentum finally stop today? That was essentially at the 174 mark. So keep an eye on 174. And again, who knows? Maybe this thing gets the breakout of 174. And if that occurs and you're watching this video and you're saying, wait, it actually closed above 174. Well, that just tells you that the momentum has continued and gotten that much stronger, because that would be a resistance break right there. But overall, the uptrend well in the bulls' favor. Next one here, AMC, and overall the chart is still perfectly fine. It has done nothing wrong at all, especially when you consider the lows. These lows keep getting higher and higher, but I'm not trying to brag about myself, but I am trying to brag about charts, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the past videos. But for those of you that have, hopefully you remember me talking about that red line right there. Wouldn't you know it? I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. And now, if you don't believe me, if this is your first video that you've ever watched, I totally understand. No problem at all. In fact, good for you for being skeptical. All you got to do is go back in the video archive, and you can watch that. I put that line right there. Again, not bragging about myself, but I am bragging about the power of technical charts. Are they perfect? No, nothing is perfect. But are they valuable? Are they a worthwhile tool? Absolutely. And we have a literal, real-life example of that. Look right where it got rejected from. Right up to that area of resistance, and back down it went. The power of charts, and just goes to reiterate that 44.50 mark remains that key area of resistance. But again, overall, everything is still perfectly fine. And again, another example of the power of real life. Look right where the price gap down, found support right at that green line, which I talked about, and then bounced from there. So nothing has really changed. The levels of resistance are still resistance. The levels of support are still support. But what has changed is the fact that, yeah, the uptrend is still continuing, because you still have these overall higher bases. And at the end of the day, as long as the price continues to put in those higher bases, that is by far what matters most. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And overall, a good day. And I commented on this yesterday, and the whole kind of, just to summarize that, was, okay, nasty start today on Monday, but at least the price did go sideways. Okay, it did start to bounce, but going into today, yeah, but I mean, was there any sort of true power behind this little bounce right here that happened late day on Monday? And yeah, as of now, it seems as though that was legitimate power, because the bounce has continued. So at this point, it now becomes, okay, is this bounce going to turn into a full-blown reversal? Remember, just because the price bounces doesn't mean it's a reversal, because it could just be, a dead cat bounce. But the more it does bounce, the more it becomes valid, and the more the potential shows up of, okay, this is no longer any sort of bounce. This has actually become a reversal. And the level that stands out to me now from that point of view is going to be in the near term. Yes, we still have this overall resistance up here. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. There we go, at 1105. So that's still completely in play. But in the very near term, I'm very curious now about this trend line here that is showing up right around that area. And let's just call it the 1055-ish mark, give or take a little bit. And again, given there is still time left, maybe the price does ultimately get the breakout of that trend line. If it does, and you're watching this, and well, Clay, actually the price is now above that trend line. Well, hey, that's a good sign. That just means that a trend line break has happened, and that puts this 1105 mark that much more in striking distance. But as of now, very, very good follow through from the afternoon action on Monday. And as of now, it remains more than valid to say, you know what, I think this is taking shape for a reversal. Again, no such thing as a guarantee, but is it plausible to think that way? Absolutely. Next one, RBLX, and a fantastic move on this one, and just set up context. So this is, already happened, but like I said, I just want to set up the overall context. But we had, this overall stubborn area of resistance there. Let's just call it the 111-ish area. But this morning, you can see, finally got the breakout of that area, and then that's what really ignited the momentum, the upwards direction. So from an overarching standpoint, in technical jargon, this is in the middle of a breakout, and the quote-unquote breakout that I'm referring to, again, is that red line right there. But I'll go ahead and get rid of that now that the context is established. But as far as key levels to watch moving forward, as far as pullbacks are concerned, first key level to watch right there at 113.75. And then, as we talked about from the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So as the line moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above that line, then the overall trend is fully in the bull's favor. And then as far as areas of resistance, a very well-defined level actually showed up today which sits right there at, let's just call it the 120 mark. But you can see now, not to the exact penny, but generally speaking, whenever the price got up right around 120, it was like somebody just, zapped the momentum, and it just could never build any sort of further momentum. So 120 definitely going to be that key breakout point. But all in all, nice overall breakout today. So now just a question of, can this breakout produce even more momentum over the next few days? Let's see how it plays out. Next one, NA, KD, and wow, what an afternoon here. Yes, of course, the price action was very solid, but you look at the surge in volume, and, you got the breakout of a couple of key levels here. The main breakout area right here around the 72-cent mark. So, again, it all boils down to, okay, the breakout has essentially happened, but now it becomes a more than valid question of, okay, is this the start of something bigger? And I know I've talked about this in past videos, but think about that. In order to first ask that question, something needs to actually happen in the first place, right? Because you can't be saying, is this the start of something bigger if nothing's actually happened? So the something actually happening is a huge part of the process here, and that has occurred. Big movement here. So yes, something has happened, but now we have the question, okay, is all this the start of something bigger? Is this thing going to be, up over $1 within a few days? Nobody knows that, but again, is it at least plausible? Is it at least logical to start to think in that way? Yeah, absolutely, because there was a big dynamic movement that happened today. So it's smart to be wondering, hey, is this like I said, the start of something a whole lot bigger? So I'll go ahead and get rid of that, as it shows that, this breakout has occurred. As far as levels of support are concerned, now moving forward, the level that stands out to me, and, that ideally you'd want to stay above, just get that trend line in place right there. And as long as the price stays above that trend line, then today's, very impressive price movement, I would argue, remains fully in the bull's favor, because nothing can go straight back up. But if the price comes down here and then bounces and then comes down here and bounces, comes down here and bounces, notice what would be happening. You would still be having those higher bases put into play. So in my mind, that trend line is going to be a key level of support. As far as next potential battlegrounds are concerned, resistance-wise, next big one seems to be right up there around the 78-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. But overall, very nice movement, very nice volume today. So yeah, is this the start of something bigger? Let's see what happens. Next one here, MARA, and a very interesting scenario, as this one just got pummeled on Monday. But now you start to get this bounce in the upwards direction. And yeah, it's bouncing, but the one thing that you got to be aware of from a pattern perspective, so there's the nasty momentum move to the downside, and then you have this channel right here that's starting to form, and this would be known as a bear flag pattern. Now, let me be very clear, just because a pattern is bearish does not guarantee that for sure the price is going to go back down. But is it at least valid? Is it at least plausible to think that, yeah, I get it, it's bouncing, but I'm kind of skeptical of that? Yeah, that would be a plausible thought process to have. Again, doesn't mean that it's going to roll back over. Maybe this is just a true bounce, and the bear flag here just gets completely blown out of the water. But our job as traders is to be making plausible and valid thought processes, and to think that, yeah, being a little skeptical of this bounce completely makes sense. And the key levels to definitely watch moving forward. And one level that would start to say, well, actually, this is a legitimate bounce. It's going to be right here at $58. So 58 going to be a key level of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, a very important level down there at 53. If the price gets down to 53 and then breaks through there, that seems to be the potential continuation point that would signal, hey, this thing is breaking to the downside of the bear flag pattern. And when you have those sorts of events, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. You can have a bunch of, pattern players all of a sudden just jumping in, just because it's breaking down. So in my mind, 53 is an important level because of that. But overall, yeah, interesting chart. You got to give credit where credit's due. The price is bouncing, but it is still forming this bearish flag pattern. But we'll see how both Wednesday and Thursday play out. Next one here, ticker symbol PLTR. And a very interesting pattern. And we just talked about, the whole self-fulfilling prophecy. And the same dynamic is occurring here. So as I draw this pattern, I don't want to make it seem like this is some sort of great discovery on my part, or I have some sort of special talent. No, I assure you, people that use charts and understand charts have noticed this level here. And let me move this down to basically, let's call it 2350. But right here, we have an ascending triangle pattern, which is a bullish pattern. Again, that doesn't mean that the price is for sure guaranteed to go back up. But is it at least plausible to think that this is officially some sort of bottom and that there's going to be a nicer move to the upside? Yeah, that is a very plausible thought process to have. So definitely keep an eye on that level 2350. And that's one of those levels where there's going to be all sorts of people watching it. So self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever you want to call it, it's valid to think that if the price can break through that level, there's going to be pattern players that are saying, hey, this pattern there's a breakout. I like to buy breakouts, and they'll buy just because of that. Same thing is true down here. If the price were to actually fall to the downside, you got to think that there's shorts out there watching that level and thinking, no, if there's a bearish failure here, that could be an opportunity to get short. But I think this is the pattern that a whole lot of people are watching. Next one here, CLOV, and I'm doing this one just for one simple reason. I mean, this thing has a track record in the past of making some absolutely bonkers moves. I mean, look at that one. A huge move. That was a very respectable move. Now, am I saying that that's what's going to occur here? Of course not. No guarantees, but it is still a pretty crazy day. And whenever crazy days like this happen on stocks that have a track record of having very big movements, it's at least worth just saying, you know what? What's going on with the craziness? I mean, think about it. Huge gap down. Nasty opening 30 minutes. Then a very impressive bounce, and now just a modest little pullback here. So who knows? Maybe this is just, this was a one-day pop, one-day wonder, and this thing's going to bleed into oblivion. That's always possible. But, that's a two-sided coin. Who knows? Maybe this thing is getting ready to make a move back upwards, to get that 770 mark, and if not even, and maybe even higher than that. But like I said, at the end of the day, what caught my eye on this one is, and for those of you that have traded for a while, CLOV, that should sound familiar to you because it's made some crazy moves in the past. But yeah, some very interesting price movement today. So, does this mean anything? Is this just a one-day type thing? Your guess is as good as mine, but at least keeping it somewhere on the watch list, in my mind at least, makes sense. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you want to learn more about the tool of technical analysis, we had some great examples of how powerful it is, but if you want to learn more about it, how it should be used, how it should not be used, and how it can ultimately help build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the class. It'll be this Thursday, like I said, November 18th. At 7 p.m. Eastern, so definitely get signed up for it, completely free. And if you enjoy these top 10 videos and like this format and would like for me to continue to make these videos, please help me out by doing two easy things. Hit that like button, leave a basic comment. As long as I know people are enjoying these videos, then I have no problem continuing to make them. So like I said, hit that like button, leave a basic comment, say hi. A smiley face emoji, a ticker symbol that you traded today, a ticker symbol that you're going to watch for tomorrow. But those two things go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy the videos. And like I said, as long as I know people are enjoying them, then I have no problem at all continuing to put in the time and effort to make them. And again, as far as the free class is concerned, definitely get signed up for it. Everybody take care. Have a good one.